Hi, welcome back to the garden. Today is March 22nd. A couple days ago it was 80 degrees. Now it's 40 again, and it's drizzling a little bit. They say it's going to rain some more. Rained like heck yesterday. I'm glad you stopped by the garden today. I'm going to need your help. After talking to a new viewer, I realized I'm doing everybody a disservice by thinking everybody knows the same. Simply because I grew up on the end of the hoe doesn't mean everybody's grown up on the end of a hoe. There's a couple key elements we can talk about that'll encourage new gardeners to get out there and get their hands dirty, and I need your help with that.
Plants need water. All plants need some kind of a container, a garden, a raised bed, a nice little pot. Thing is, you want to have a hole in the bottom of it. You want this to drain, because with your water and with your container, you don't want to create a swamp. Most plants will die if you keep them too wet. What's the other thing plants need? They need some kind of growing medium. A potting soil, a compost, a combination of all. Whether a plant is in a field, a garden, a raised bed, a pot on your windowsill, they all need some kind of growing medium. It prompted me to do this episode on the basics, and I had a few sweet potatoes that were putting on slips. This nice young viewer said, "Boy, I'd sure like to eat some of those. How do you cook them?" And I said, "Well, I cut the top off and save the slips, put them in a little bit of water, and then you can go ahead and plant them and make your own potatoes." I should have given a little more direction. I've had a flurry of questions ever since, so this gets back down to the basics. You'll need to have some kind of a container, some kind of growing medium, and water. So what do I mean by slips on a sweet potato? You got a little pan of water, and I just cut the top off, just like this, and then we just set it in there, and that will start to root pretty quickly, and it really only takes a couple days to start to root. The other thing you saw me do just the other day was just take the slips right up, these longer ones, just pop them right off, and you just pull them right free and put them in a glass of water. And within just a couple of days, they make nice roots. Sweet potatoes root relatively fast, so this has only been in the water just a couple of days. But we're going to go ahead and do the next two basics. So go ahead and take a container. We're going to put a growing medium in here. We're going to use some of our compost. There's nothing saying you can't get potting soil from the big box store. If you're going to grow something in the house, any kind of plant in the house, those soils are just fine. Now for this example, we're just going to make a hole. And we'll make it kind of deep on this one. Now if you're planting seeds, you do exactly the same thing. You have some kind of a container or a raised bed or your garden. You have a growing medium, and you put a small, medium, large hole depending on what you're planting. If you're transplanting a bigger plant, you need a bigger hole. If you're just doing seeds, it's just a small hole. The principle is exactly the same. This particular plant will root the entire stem, so we can put it in kind of deep. I want to try to keep the roots going down. We take it to the first leaf, and then we just snug that soil in around it. And if you're planting seeds, you just want a light little cover. You don't want to snug it too much. You just want nice soil contact. And this container has a bottom on it already, so if you overwater it, it will come pouring out the top, so you got to be pretty careful with that. But then with all plants, you just give it a nice little drink. And then you just test it with your finger. And that's damp, so that's all you have to do. That is planting 101. That is sweet potato slips 101. That is gardening 101.
Well, I hope some of these tips are helpful and encourage you to get out there and get your hands dirty.
Now that you've joined us and gotten your hands dirty, you're ready to pot up your second plant, and your third, and you're on your way.
Once you get the basics down and get your hands dirty a couple times, the rest really is easy.
Like I said, you can do this too. The folks that stop by for a visit, they'll tell you, it's really just that simple. You really have to pay attention to your plants. Use your finger, make sure that they got enough water. They will also have to have some kind of a light. If you're in your apartment and you don't have adequate light, you can get a grow light, or put them on the windowsill and they'll get sunlight. But the principle's the same. It doesn't matter if somebody gives you a house plant for a present or you're planting your own. I hope you got a little something out of this. We sure hope you'll join us.
You really can do this too. And I want to thank everybody that stopped by to help me show how easy this is. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.